Hi everyone, welcome to Dialog Trees podcast where we talk about stuff. Very
Yeah,
very inappropriate
sometimes it's good,
stuff.
sometimes it's not. Sometimes
most of the time
I
it's
have to
just
edit out
bullshit.
a lot of stuff. All the
So
time, it's just bullshit.
It is bullshit
Unless we're
24/7.
quoting
But that,
somebody.
today we're gonna talk about review embargoes and whether or not they're
Not
good.
because of any.
Yeah, no, there's like totally nothing that happened recently. We're like,
no particular
Big controversy.
launch title in case.
oh my god, Cyberpunk! Oh. Sorry, I had to cough.
You okay? You
Yeah.
get the Rona?
Oh.
Man,
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know when I'm ever actually going to play that game. Because I don't have a PC that can run it. And I only have a PlayStation 4 to my name. I don't know if I'm ever going to want to actually grab it.
I have a good PC and I don't know if I can run it. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, jeez. CD Projekt Red, why?
So
Failed us.
yeah, I think
So,
that's a good place to
Do
start
we want
it.
to start on the embargo, or do we want to start on the console embargo?
No, let's start on shitting on Cyberpunk. Fuck it. Let's get it out of the way.
Get all the bile out now.
Let's just get it out of the way.
The console review embargo.
Yes, console review for Cyberpunk. So obviously they were allowed to review the PC version. Like obviously they got it like a couple weeks before. Review came out like
Reviews are good.
yeah, reviews are good. The PC review came out like 2-3 days before. I can't remember exactly. And that was cool. But there were some problems actually with that one too. They were only allowed to use stock footage that they provided. And everyone was like, "Hey, where's the console review?" And they're like, it's around. Well, they weren't allowed to review the console versions because, well, they were broken. And they were kind of hiding that from everyone.
Do you think that there's a world in which CD Projekt Red could have just released the PC version on the release date and then delayed for however long it took to get the console versions up to snuff? Like, do you think people would have been okay with that?
I mean, people
Absolutely,
people
they
would
would
have
have been okay with that.
They would have
That's
bitched,
how
but in the
we're
end,
now.
it would have worked out. Because we're in
Everybody's
that situation
probably
now.
gone Yeah.
It's pretty standard fare nowadays for things to have launch on different launch dates on different platforms. Lots of things get ported to console later or get a PC port later, like Horizon Zero Dawn.
Or like 10
2
years later, get a
got
Switch
PC
port.
Yeah, but have we ever seen a case where it's like a port will come out for like a game will come out for one platform and it will take months for what was supposed to be a launch title on multiple platforms to come out for those other platforms? Oof.
Yeah, that was a big one where the PC version was extremely broken.
And Arkham Knight.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh
Which
god.
that was actually
Also,
another review embargo situation where the PC version was kind of ignored.
We should stress that it's not that console reviews weren't allowed, it's that CDPR gave out 0 early access codes for console. It was never an option. They had a lock and key on it from the start. Nobody
None of the
played
preview
console
footage
until-
was ever showing off anything console related. None of the E3
Yep.
footage, none of the game tech conference footage, like nothing
They pulled a
pre-release
Watch
was
Dogs.
console.
They absolutely pulled a Watch Dogs.
hmm
Just fake it and then tell everybody that no, it always looked like this. Just gaslight them.
That's the thing, though, is that it's not exactly Watch Dogs, because Watch Dogs never looked like it was promised. Cyberpunk does, just not for every platform that it was promised to come out on. It is
like
capable of looking
3090.
beautiful. Like it is capable of looking beautiful on PC. It's just the console seems to be where the most of the graphical fidelity has been lost. The technical shit is still busted all over the map, but like I would say Watch Dogs is a bit too far for what this is.
Fair.
Is
I'm
Bruce's
sure you had
video
more
like
thoughts
super
on embargoes
pixelated
in
for
general.
YouTube rated?
He's coming in and out.
Is this like
Both
a
of you
big,
guys look fine for me.
You look like a... Oh, there it is. It was like a big blob. Just a fucking blob.
Bruce is coming in streamed from Cyberpunk 2077 on a 360 on an Xbox One.
Yeah, I'm reporting from the field.
So,
Man.
Dialog Trees, go. No other podcasts can go.
Or should go.
Another big release, like in the past like few years, that also had a review embargo because they knew their game was broken, was Assassin's Creed Unity, where they weren't allowed to release the review until noon the day of, because, well, it was fucking broken. Everyone's seen the horrifying pictures of the character models, which, ironically enough, is also in Cyberpunk. But you know, we usually don't have a problem with review embargoes. It's whatever, we're used to it. But then we get these situations like Cyberpunk and Assassin's Creed where we're like, hey, are review embargoes kind of like anti-consumer? Should we, get rid of them?
I think a question of getting rid of them is kind of academic, because for a lot of review outlets, their main point of like fame as a journalistic entity is that they have insider access to like games that are coming out, but that's because it's controlled by the studio. So until there was like a sort of body that was independent of like a publisher that could navigate when and where reviews can be uplifted, like I could see that the case of like a lot of games just would not be supplied to these journalistic outfits if there was worries that, oh, they're going to shit on it a week before and they're going to ruin our sales.
But then with that thought of like only being nice to them for the access, like that's the same problem we have in mainstream media right now. We, as soon as somebody has a position of power, we kowtow because it's more important to get views and clicks than it is to report the truth. So is that like, that's kind of just the journalistic integrity question.
Yeah, that's a whole other can of worms.
Well, see, and that's where some journalists are saying like review embargoes are good because it forces the reviewers to actually spend time with the game for 2 weeks. They don't just get the game day one, rush through it in 2 hours, and release a review just so they're the first one out there with a review to get those clicks.
This is fair.
Well, you can still have an embargo and have enough time, because you can give people, like most games will go gold, let's say at the minimum a month before release, and that's it's way longer. But as soon as you've got that gold edition, you can send it out to reviewers, and you can make your embargo a week before launch. So there's still enough time. You can give people 2 to 3 weeks more to play and do this, which most of the time it's like a couple of days.
Yeah.
And then still have the review come out early.
Yeah, I think it's especially telling when it's
late. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, I was cutting you off completely.
As soon as a review comes out after the game, like it to me, don't buy a game without a review unless the company has a history of consumer friendliness and success and
like
putting
CDPR?
out exactly, like, that's the thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, if we hindsight 2020, if you go back and read all the pressers they released, like look at the stuff, some of the stuff Jason Schreier was saying about crunch, look at the console review embargo, like like it's there. All the clues are there that there's
it is, but because they had so much goodwill towards them, everyone was like, well, whatever.
I know.
Trying to give them the benefit of the doubt. Like, yeah.
How much skepticism do you have to take on something?
Yeah. I agree with you that I think the sign that there was a tiered review embargo is like a clear sign that something's up. Because if you're allowed to review it on one platform, but I don't want you to talk about another, that should not be a thing. That should be like the industry standard should be like you talk about all platforms, you get reviews out for all of them, because anything else is admitting that you're shipping a faulty product.
Yes.
But I think that a large part of it is not just on the studio's part. I think a large part of it is just the way the gaming culture has evolved to be centered around like day one access. I need to be the first to download the game. I need my pre-order bonus. I need all of these things to ensure that launch day is the only day to buy this thing. And it's crazy in terms of like what that has damage that has done to the industry.
Yeah, pre-order bonuses kind of ruined the industry.
Yeah, Aaron and I talked about this beforehand, and we had our topics for the week go hand in hand. And so this is probably going to be a big, messy discussion where we go tangentially the whole time. But I wanted to talk about pre-order culture in gaming, because you don't see pre-order culture. Like, you see pre-ordering in other things, but the way it is in gaming, it's not in other mediums. Like, you still have hype, because hype is a thing. Hype is marketing. But gaming and capital G gamers, and just even some just like casual gamers, they feed teams, from my perspective, on like you said, being first and having that bragging right, almost, of like, I was there day zero. And you see that even like the Xbox One had a day zero edition, as it was called, and that was the pre-order version. And it comes to bite people in the ass all the time. Like, almost, every quarter there's a AAA game that bites people in the ass because they pre-ordered it. And then Reddit will get the rallying cry of stop pre-orders, it's bad. And then, the next quarter, the next AAA game gets pre-ordered and people shit on it because it's bad.
Yeah. I almost wonder if it would take something on the scale of like a bad Call of Duty pre-order scandal to like truly wake up a majority of people to this. I feel like it needs to be something on that level where it's like the most talked about games in the world, because otherwise everything else is like drop in the water.
Game in the world?
It was one of the biggest PC gaming launches of all time.
Only PC, or was it general?
PC gaming launches are handled differently than I would say like console gaming launches, because console gaming culture is like a lot more accessible, and like the numbers there can dwarf anything on the PC.
Yeah, that's why I was wondering if it was strictly PC or just in general, because the last, and this is like 7 years ago, but like GTA 5, $1 billion in like launch weekend, or was it launch day? One of the two. And something that big, on which you'd probably only get on console, but especially a console with a good user basis already. Like, that's probably what it's going to take. And I think what Cyberpunk would have been had everything not happened with the console, which then raises the question, you just said it's going to take one of the biggest launches of all time. Can you have one of the biggest launches of all time if you botch it? And Cyberpunk was botched.
Yeah, that's fair.
That launch is definitely ruined. When you have to refund like thousands of people, you ruined your launch.
When they took the game Sony, when Sony steps in, holy shit. That is the sign of the apocalypse.
Yeah.
They fucking wanted to release the network. Or what was it? The interview. That was it.
Did release the interview.
It takes like North Korea and Cyberpunk to make Sony back down.
Yeah. And like it's easy enough to say Cyberpunk was a mess, all of these reasons, but putting them all into the big picture is the interesting part, at least to me, because you have a game that initially teased not before, at the same time as the launch of the generation that encompassed PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. That game was teased very, very, very closely within, let's say, 4 weeks of the launch of those consoles, 2013. And now that game launched after launch of the next generation, the Xbox Series, I think it's called. I don't know.
Xbox Series X
and PlayStation 5.
They stick with like Scarlet or something. Series X is the dumbest name. It's so bad.
I don't.
We can have a whole episode
you know
just on that name.
I gotta zip it.
Yeah, Wii U would like a challenger. but like that, I think that there is a pretty big sign that something is going to be up. If you, and not on its own though, like, here, this generation's coming out, look at this game we're building for it. Hey, the next generation's out, our game's coming out for it, but we're not going to show you any of the footage from the generation prior, being Xbox One, PS4. Like, that should have been a red flag for everybody to say things. And there were news outlets saying things like, this is very concerning, but that's a reason to cancel your pre-order.
It is, but no one ever wants to cancel their pre-order. They always have the benefit of the doubt. And it's, well, this is the biggest game of the century. Like, we have to get Cyberpunk.
Maybe I'll totally say, like, I'm the asshole. I don't want to victim blame. I don't think this is victim blaming, but you pre-order a game, you're 100% accepting and to take any of the problems. If you pre-order a game, you shouldn't get a refund because the game's broken. You should have to own the game.
Yeah, I do agree with you there. Like, any other
Same
thing.
as like something where it's like a Kickstarter that flops and absconds with your money. Like, that's a shame, but
Same thing.
you're backing something you didn't have concrete proof was going to be any good.
That's my controversial opinion, that Sony went above and beyond to do this, but they're setting a dangerous precedent by refunding these things. I think CDPR would have learned a better lesson, because their stock would have taken a bigger hit and they would have had more public backlash had people continued to find bugs in these things instead of mass returning them. And I think the frustration of people buying something and then not being able to say, oops, never mind, and having to live with that, I think that could have sealed the pre-order culture death. But because they had that parachute and they could pull the cord, I don't think this will change anything, and that's unfortunate. And I should also say, people who bought the game, the day after, something like that, you know what? You bought the game, and then you're like, oh, now everything's busted. Like, I didn't know, but like, oh, things are busted. Yeah, I'm going to return this. But the pre-order, like, you're blindly going in, and you were going to buy it regardless. You did buy it regardless. So should you get to say, oh, I don't like it? You didn't know you didn't like it before, and you still pay for it. So,
well, yeah, those people, especially like the console ones, saw absolutely no footage, and they're like, "Nah, I'm gonna buy this." You literally didn't see your product and gave money to it.
How often is that actually broadcast towards the consumer, though? Like, trailers coming now always come with like, this is not rendered with in-engine footage, or it is, or this is rendered with gameplay footage. But often the circumstances behind that are so sketchy as far as like how this is done. Like, I'm reminded of a YouTube video I saw that talked about Sonic Boom and the hysteria surrounding that. And journalists were reporting that it looked pretty promising, and trailers were coming out showing off really cool graphics and stuff. It was running in-engine. It was running an engine on a PC port of a Wii U exclusive. And, like, it was technically true. So they don't have to say that it's not from the Wii U. like how much of that information is readily accessible to the consumer is the issue.
Yeah, that's kind of the other problem. Is
that's
like
why
all
I
these
think it
companies
goes-
show the wrong shit. Like, oh yeah, no, this game like 60 frames per second. Look how gorgeous it is, but it's running on your fucking powerful PC. Throw it on a Switch, it's gonna run like fucking shit. No offense,
Yeah.
Bruce. I'm sorry.
Like, it's fine. I get it. Even Breath of the Wild chugs. Fuck. Like, it's like a fucking black metal song. Now black metal's 2. Never mind.
Put that on the back of the box, Nintendo. You
It
cowards.
runs like a black.
No, fuck. And Bruce Highfield.
I'm quotable, I know, but I think regardless of what the reviewers are saying, or sorry, the pre-launch reviewers are saying, think like that's why Metacritic has the critic score and the consumer score, and you know you need people. You always need early adopters, right? But early adopters in every other industry, it comes with an inherent risk. To be the one in at the ground level, you are risking something. But gamers want in at the ground level risk free. And
That's what pre-orders
as soon
are
as something
constructed
shows
as.
up. Pardon me?
Well, that's what pre-orders are constructed as. It's not saying you're putting down money for a thing that is not released. It is, you are paying money and we will slap on the full experience for you. Like, other people will not receive the full experience because they'll be missing out on items, weapons, content, what have you. But if you
didn't get this one costume.
Yeah. And for a lot of people, that is like a reason to be like, yeah, fuck it, I'll put money down. Why not? I don't want to miss out on anything.
FOMO.
Yeah. Mass Effect 3 was so bad for this. It had a whole character that was locked behind a pre-order. I was so pissed.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah. And like the character wasn't just any random NPC. It was like a pretty, like, one of the best NPCs in that game. Like a whole chunk of the storyline, and I was very upset when it came out that was a pre-order bonus.
Do you guys think?
don't-
No, Bruce, you can go.
I was just gonna say I don't understand the idea of locking like that. It's not that goes further than console exclusivity, which we 100% will have an episode on eventually because I have some thoughts, and by some I mean
A whole episode
But-
worth.
that's like, oh my god, this is timed exclusivity, like fucking Nintendo's been doing, and we'll have an episode on that because fuck Nintendo. But the idea of this is it's already ballsy enough, and it takes a lot of courage, and this is a good thing on a developer's part to treat the player with respect and hide a huge point of the game behind some really obscure secret. And From Software is really good at that. All of Upper Cathedral Ward is a secret. The Moon Presence is a secret. Like these crazy things, or the second castle, the inverted castle in Symphony of the Night, like crazy things. People could play these games and never experience this, but you do it anyway because it's there. Modern game design is the flip of that. It's like, we're going to give you, and we're going to take it away on purpose. And like, why? Like,
It's always like this publisher like afterwards scalping out content that's already on the disc. In the case of most day one pre-orders, like it's already built, and it was just somebody taking a look at something and being like, you know what, this little section right here, we can carve out a nice chunk and make that exclusive for pre-order or DLC or what have you. And that is frustrating, because usually a DLC and like extra content is done after the game has gone gold, not before. When it's before, that means that it was, cut away. Yeah, exactly. It was cut from the game, not because it wasn't finished, but because they didn't want to give it to the regular consumer.
Yeah, fighting games are bad for that. A lot
Fighting
of
games are
fighting
very
games
bad for
have
that.
their first couple. Street Fighter V was awful
Street
I
Fighter
think it
5
launched with
released
8
half the
characters.
fucking game.
Yeah, I think 8 characters were played on launch and 16 were on disc.
Jesus Christ.
Like,
And
I mean, that
people
means less
pre-order
and
this
less.
shit.
That means less and less in an era where digital downloads are the most common way to be getting video games. But like, still, like, but it's a physical reality, and you partition it off because you have access to like,
Okay.
online servers to like enable that. That's always, God,
put
so
it this way,
frustrating.
You you buy Street Fighter 5 online. You download it. Then 16 characters, but 8 of them aren't selectable or not. You have no knowledge about those 8 characters until you pay money for them. You already bought the software that contains them. You're just paying somebody to then add another line of code which unlocks it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. It's
Now,
bullshit.
with Street Fighter 5, did we
Street
know
Fighter
that
5,
those characters were locked?
great. Oh yeah, they discovered they were on disc and they were DLC.
Yeah, but like beforehand, did we know that there was locked characters already, or just everyone threw money at the fucking game, got it, and it's like, oh shit, there's 8 locked
I
characters.
don't remember. All I remember from the Street Fighter 5 launch, because Street Fighter 5 has arguably become a good game years post launch, but on launch there was, I think the only mode you had was like online, and that was it. Like, there was no story mode. You had, I think, arcade and head to head online. That was it. That was all that was there on disc, like, to playable on day one. And it's like, cool. No story mode. You get arcade, so 8 fights in a row. Unlock some stuff. Lots of costumes. You could pay to unlock more of them. Like,
Ballsy move to do that with a franchise that people expect everything from because it's been iterated so many times. Like, Street Fighter fans are particular about what edition that they're playing. It's a difference between whether you're playing Turbo or Ultimate or Vanilla.
how many times has Street Fighter 2 been re-released?
Yeah.
Yes.
And the thing-
Was it really surprising with Street Fighter 5 doing that though? When you have like fucking 20 versions of Street Fighter 2?
Yeah.
But the content on
game
each of
came
them
out in
is full-fledged. They have full
2012.
rosters. They have full game modes. This was the case of like 3 different flavors of Coke, whereas what they were putting out was just like one of those little SodaStream packets in a can, and they're like, we'll fill it eventually.
Also, for a slight, I'm not trying to apologize for Capcom and Street Fighter. The reason there's so many versions of Street Fighter 2 is because you have to treat each version like a balance patch. That game is pre-balance patches. That's pre-online. So the only way to add changes is by a new edition. That's like Melee is a 20-year-old game, and the only balance patch that ever happened is PAL, because the NTSC is North America and Japan, and then I don't know, something like 6 months later it launched in Europe, which got PAL edition. So there's slight variances between the two. That's what things were like. You had different versions because of that. Now there's no excuse for it because every console is online, and as Microsoft would say, we have a product for people who don't want to be always online. It's called the Xbox 360. We mocked them then, but now it's reality.
But see, can we like be mad at these devs though for releasing stuff that's kind of broken then patching it later, when before it'd be, oh hey, we release a version that's broken, we're going to release another version that you spend $80 on, and then you have the fixed version.
Yeah, I mean, it's a case of like, is a balance patch something that you should expect for free or something that you get, invest in? For much of the game industry's lifespan, it was not something that you were expected to get for free, unless you had like a PC game with a very great support from the studio. Patches just weren't the thing. It was only really when like Xbox Live came around that was normalized for consoles. I think that in a lot of cases it's like,
I was going to say, correct me if I'm wrong, but in the past, didn't PC games, couldn't you get a patch on a disc mailed to you from some developers?
You could.
Wasn't that a thing?
It was a thing.
So like
was,
you
but
could.
people didn't really
Yeah.
do it that often.
Yeah, it was.
No,
it
but
was.
it was a
rare.
It was a hassle.
100%, but like that pushed the envelope to where we have now.
Yes.
And I would say that we absolutely should be blaming consumers and the devs, not just one over the other, but both, because consumers are complaining that things are launched in a state they don't like. They're paying it away, and again, back to pre-orders. Like, you're going in blind on an experience. That's sure to go in blind, and if you want that surprise, go for it. But you can't tell somebody ripped you off when you specifically didn't want to know anything about what they were giving you.
Yeah.
I think in regards to your point, Aaron, about balance patches being like bullshit, like, and like the idea that like the developer should have like made sure that they were fixed in the first place. I think that's one of those cases where you really cannot figure that out in QA testing. Like, that's an issue where you need like a huge pool of users to kind of like toy around with the system before they find out what the exploits are. For Q&A testing, it's usually focused more on like structural bugs, like shit that prevents the game from running as intended. I think balance issues are stuff you can really only fix post-launch because you don't have access to the whole fighting game community that will stress test the shit out of every playstyle for you.
Yes, but
Yeah,
like
that's
can
how
we
metas
be
evolve.
mad at devs now for doing stuff like that? You know, compared to like in the past where they have to release a whole new game to fix it. 'Cause we were talking
I
about
don't think we should
our
be
problem was like devs releasing broken shit and
Well,
consumers
yeah, but
just dropping
there's
money on it. Can
there's
we
difference
really be
in, like,
surprised though?
there's a difference in broken shit between like what I was saying, structural issues, and like stuff that's just like exploitable.
Yes.
Like like this is what comes up every World of Warcraft expansion, like people complaining about this class is broken, this thing is messed up. None of those issues, I think, are fundamental, like this is broken. They're issues of the game's ecosystem not flourishing as intended. I think you can definitely get pissed off at developers for structural issues. In a lot of cases, what I imagine is happening is that QA testing is finding them, they're addressing them, and then they break behind their back because that's what crunch does, is you just keep throwing on new systems and you never get a chance to go back and fix all the shit you know is broken because you have to finish the game. It's like, yeah. No, it is bullshit, but I don't know if I would call it as like a fault of anything but like studio management.
Yeah, I think we have to blame devs for putting out a game they know is not working. Because if you're hiding things, you know. Because you only hide things if you're aware. If not, you're just ignorant. And it's okay to be ignorant on some things, but there is a level where you should be doing your due diligence. Because you're not going to be able to catch everything, because there's people who specifically look to break games. Sequence breaking is a thing. That's why we have speedruns. And meta's evolving in fighting games. It's about exploiting. That's fine. You're always going to have that, and I would be sad if things like that went away. I enjoy fighting games and competition, and I enjoy speedrunning. But once the developer is specifically hiding things, yeah, that's their fault. It's their fault for knowingly putting something out that is second rate. And it's also the consumer's fault for buying something without doing their own due diligence. And there's no winner. There's absolutely no winner.
No, I think every party is to blame for all of that. There's no getting around that. Like you don't go buy a car with doing no fucking research and then be like, oh, well, this thing's broken. Well, you should have done your fucking research.
Yeah. No, it is
And
a case
then
where
that
like the
also
industry is sick in many parts, and like, yeah.
The question that raises is like, how much do you trust the press junkets and the marketing around it? Because obviously it's that company's job to sell you on it. They're gonna make it the most amazing thing. That's why you need a journalist to come and be that neutral third party. And obviously, like, bias is inherent in everything, but you have to have somebody tell you, like, hey, I had some, like this. I enjoyed the entire experience. There were parts where frames dropped to 20, like 20 FPS, and it very much took me out of the experience. But would I say that this game is literally unplayable? No. And that, I think, is the most important thing, is like, journalism is important, and doing your research is important. And
but the shitty thing with this industry is, can we always trust reviewers? Because we don't know if these companies are just throwing money at them to say, hey, say this game's 10 out of 10, like Cyberpunk.
And it's also like
10 out of 10s.
It's also a case of like access, and like the studio treats the journalists differently, the journalists treat the studios differently, because that's who they rely upon to do their business. There is no independent board making sure that every certified games journalist is getting copies of a game to satisfy hungry readers before it. It's all down to like individual relationships with the studio. I think that I just miss demos. Do you remember when demos were like the most common way that you'd get a chance to experience a new game before playing
PS1
it?
demo disc. Oh,
yeah,
that was the day.
Like, I downloaded.
You have no idea what things are, but you love it anyway.
Yep, I played a demo recently for Blasphemous on the Switch. I was shocked in the first place that there was even a demo available in today's modern market. I'm like, thank God I played it. And I'm like, okay, this actually convinced me on a game I was otherwise so about. And like, I just missed that being a standard in the industry of like, let's actually let people play it, because trailers don't tell you shit.
Yeah, demos kind of died at the end of the
a
360 PS3 era.
Well, I mean, Nintendo puts demos out. Age of Calamity, one of their biggest launches this year, got a demo.
It's just not mainstream anymore.
I mean, I for all the problems that Nintendo eShop has, which outweigh the pros, one of the pros is you can search only for games that have demos. You can straight up say, I only want to look at games that have demos right now. I only want to be able to play a demo before I get it. And you can say maybe that's because Nintendo wants people to experience a game before they play it. You could also say that's because Nintendo knows a lot of kids are doing their thing, and you can satisfy a kid by just popping a demo in front of them.
You're not wrong there.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. I was a kid. I played demos, and then
I went crazy for back in 2005, Revenge of the Sith coming out on DVD, and it came with a demo for Battlefront II that contained 2 missions. You got a chance to play one of the story missions, and you got a chance to play one of the space missions, and it was awesome. I played that over and over again because it was way better way to experience a video game than just like watching a trailer, because the trailer is a cinematic way of showing you what a game is like, and that doesn't work for an interactive medium, yet that's the primary way we talk about video games in a like advertising sense.
Talking about Battlefront 2, when I was this is a fun little tangential story. When I was a kid, there was another kid who our moms were friends, and I didn't like him a whole lot, but his parents were loaded, so he had all the consoles. Like I didn't like him.
I liked him a lot.
To his house to be baby, and we'd play like SNES, and it was dope. I was awful at Mario, still am. And then I'd never, really liked him. He was annoying. I was really an asshole to him. I'd be like, "Why are you doing it this way? Like, stop! You're
Wait,
gonna delete my save file."
Were you gatekeeping at a young age?
No.
Is this your origin story?
I was mad. I was mad because he unlocked a character on my file of Soul Calibur 3.
This
Anyway,
young boy
one day
wanted a friend, and you're just sitting there in his basement.
Fuck
making
you! You're
fun of
doing
him.
this wrong.
no, just wait, it gets better. So finally, I'm at his house one day, and he's like, "Oh, like, do you want to play Battlefront?" I was like, "What's that?" And he puts in Battlefront 2, and we start playing, and holy shit, it blew my mind. I had never played a game that captured me like this. And when my mom comes to pick me up, I was like, "Hey man, like, we should hang out again soon." All just so I could get my hands on the sweet Battlefront 2.
Yeah,
I hated this guy, but as soon as he introduced me to Battlefront 2, I was like,
I fucking love
"That is
you.
not so bad."
That's probably why he did it. He's
I'm
like, I gotta reel him in.
I mean, he genuinely changed in my eyes after that. It wasn't even like I'm gonna use him for Battlefront. Like, absolutely, that's what I was doing. But in my head, I was like, no, this guy's cool. Like, this guy's so cool. He's good at Battlefront.
Good at Battlefront, aka lets me play Battlefront.
And I'm not gonna name this person. Maybe by this story, if they were ever to somehow come across this, they'd know who they are. But
It was Aaron the whole
motherfucker-
time.
Wouldn't surprise me.
we
if
were
it's
like
me.
6 through 10 years old. He didn't call me Bruce. He called me Purse, like a woman's handbag. Do you understand why I didn't like this guy?
Yeah, but maybe he did that because he knew you're only coming over to fucking play his games.
Yeah, no, you
No.
fucking freeloader, my friend.
You were freeloading and
I
wondering why
don't
this guy was
know,
shit talking
because my
you.
parents made me get me that.
You're sitting in his basement. You're playing on his Xbox. Your Purse. That's the name that you have earned, my friend.
Like since we met, I was Purse, and I was like, "Fuck this." Anyway, tangential story over.
I had a friend like that for another Star Wars game, which was Jedi Academy. Hated the dude. Well, not hated. That's a very strong word.
Disliked
Definitely a
him.
person.
Like,
Again, I went straight to hate. It was not a hate relationship. It was it felt like a very little brother relationship of like long suffering, like okay, let's hang out. But he had Jedi Knight Jedi Academy, which is one of the best multiplayer games.
sounds like my story.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's just like,
Were you the other kid?
oh my god, it was me. Dun dun Purse. I thought your name was Percy.
That would make sense. I would accept that.
Bruce,
But
what if that kid was like dyslexic and read
like
your
a-
name wrong, and you've been shit talking him for your whole life?
He knew my name was Bruce. He knew.
Are you just trying to reassure yourself?
I know.
Next important question.
Listen, we don't need to psychoanalyze me again.
Did this kid actually exist, or was it just you playing on your Xbox? And like you started
No,
to
it
like
was on
yourself when you played Battlefront 2.
It was a PS2. It was on PS2.
On PlayStation 2. That's another strong evidence that it was in fact you. Because nobody
you know I
played
did
Battlefront on a PlayStation 2.
I did.
How dare you?
I still own both of them on PS2.
Nice.
Anyways, back to your story that I interrupted by making fun of Bruce.
No, I was basically just bringing up this story as a way to like further like compound the making fun of Bruce arc.
Oh, good.
I was gonna sympathize with him and then knock him back down. That's what you gotta do. Since we're getting close to 50 minutes here, I was wondering if I could interrupt our loathy conversation about how fucked the gaming industry is.
And Bruce.
Specifically, GDPR.
Yes. What?
Fuck Nintendo.
Yes, fuck Nintendo. I was wondering if I could introduce you guys to another segment of Brayden's Hall of Obscure Games.
Always. 100%.
Absolutely. Let's go.
All right. So, to reiterate the rules of this little adventure, I'm going to show you a selection of screenshots from a game. I'm going to ask you several questions about it. we'll want you guys to tell me, what do you think this game is? What's the plot? What are the characters doing here? Our ultimate goal is to try to like figure out what we think it is, and then at the end I'm going to tell you guys, and we'll discuss a little bit about why I think this game is obscure and why the hell I know about it in the first place. All right, let me just get this set
You
up.
only know about it because you Google searched obscure games.
Oh,
It's Myst.
Because I did that, and I have one on the back
Is it
burner
Myst?
for when it's Bruce's Hall of Obscure Games. Just
Did I
to
do it?
Show up Brayden.
see it? Do you guys see it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, Myst.
It's loading.
All right. Do we see the image in front of you?
Yeah, go ahead
Yeah.
and describe it. I'll just use Aaron's footage for this.
No, I want you guys to tell me what we're looking at. I know what it is. I want you to tell me what you think it is.
It's a
frozen.
globe contained in metal rods. Kind of looks like the fucking like big fucking like what the fuck is it called? That like big thing they use for like cameras attached to
I feel
it.
like it's like
light
if like Clippy sacrificed his life to save planet Earth. He just throws his arms around to protect it.
Oh man, this is what happened to Clippy.
Oh,
So
man.
sad.
No, he went out a hero. I also want you guys to take note of the awesome light texture up in the top right.
Yeah, that's
That's
a
certainly
doozy
a
of a
light.
light.
Yeah, yeah. What do we think this is? Is this our main character? Is this a NPC? Is this an object that we're picking up? What is this?
I want to say an object, but like you had me thinking that this is probably some sort of fucking NPC now, and I'm very confused.
Right, next image. All right. We're getting a bit of a better glimpse. What do we make of this image? What context do we think it's coming in?
The blue person's like super depressed, but like the Asian looking girl is like, well, you know, I fucking saved your life by like digitizing you. So it's like kind of like Digimon, but like not Digimon.
Important question. Do we think that this is pre-Cortana or post-Cortana? Pre-Halo or post-Halo?
I want to say, when did Halo release? Was it like 2002?
Yes.
I want to say, yeah, I want to say this is 2004.
2004. All right. I'm liking the just sheer polygonal edge of that haircut.
Everything's so straight.
Yes, very angular design and stuff. I also got to admire just the fascinating female character design. Early 2000s for sure.
Hey, you know, that's pretty good. I'd say that's pretty good.
Yeah?
I've seen worse. I've also seen better. I've seen a lot
Is Bruce
better.
gone? I think Bruce
so.
is gone. All right.
That's okay.
You know what? It's just a game for you and I. Now, for our podcast viewers, why don't you tell me what this image looks like?
It looks like the fucking Yeti thing from Star Wars. I'm sorry, Star Wars nerds. I don't remember the fucking name of it.
How dare you, the Wampa?
See, I was thinking Wampa. I'm like, no, that sounds wrong.
The
But
key
yeah,
to
no.
any Star Wars name is it sounds like a 3-year-old tried badly explaining it to you, but that's the actual name. It's like, and then Luke got abducted by the Wampa. And you're like, okay, but what's his actual name?
You know, it looks like a Wampa, and this dude, like, from the back looks like a Han Solo ripoff, and he's like shooting at it. And for whatever reason, like, it looks like the right fist is like a lot larger than the left fist.
Yeah, perspective.
There's a dude like half buried in the snow with just like a hand and legs sticking out.
I know. Like, check out those sneakers. Like, my man's got some Jordans.
those are square. Everyone's shoes are square. And you got 2 more dead bodies on the right.
Yep. We also have a UI element in front of us, so that I think could give us a bit of context as to like what the fuck do we think this game is?
I want to say a fucking third-person shooter. maybe even like an RPG. Obviously we have health there. I'm assuming the like lightning bolt looking thing is like energy, and the thing on the bottom is shields. And I'm assuming that shield is tied to the thing on his back that looks like some triangle fucking flip thing. And yeah.
All right. I'm digging it. I'm digging it.
Oh my, his hand. Before you move on, look at his left hand. It's so blocky.
Hey, I'm back.
Hey, Bruce.
In Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back.
Good guess. This is the image that you missed, Bruce.
Oh, he missed the first one too.
But this is Perfect Dark for Xbox.
This is Perfect Dark for Xbox. Interesting. And this is the very first image.
I thought
Not
it was
Perfect Dark
missed
for
based
Xbox.
off of that, and it wasn't.
Wait,
I'm upset.
Is that a satellite? Is that a satellite or eyes on the globe?
That's Clippy.
Yeah,
It's like-
okay.
Clippy
it's like-
gave his life.
Yeah, Clippy saw a meteor
Okay.
coming, and he's like, "I'll protect you." All right, this is our fourth image.
Looks
We're
like
starting
some
to-
weird spider skeleton thing.
Yeah, we're getting into like circa like Blizzard 1999 copyright territory.
I was
here.
gonna say that looks exactly like a Zerg.
Yes, it does.
That almost seems to me this was a rough build of StarCraft Ghosts.
Oh my god, maybe.
This is definitely an RPG now because we see the left hand side says level list. And
Is this
a list of
Lost Planet?
This is not Lost Planet.
That is for somebody who really liked Lost Planet. Ouch, my dude. Oof. Big oof.
I forgot Lost Planet came out in like 2007,
Man. 2007. It was very cool for its day and age.
Now-
Okay.
The
Thank you
thing
to
at the very
King
top
of
that says,
Are there more
yeah, I
photos?
was gonna ask, is that part of the photo?
Thank you, the King of Grabs, for providing this photo. Who are they? I don't know. They're probably defunct by now.
Shout out.
Shout out.
Nice.
All right. Who do we think
go.
are? It seems like we kind of have the recurring character of this like Han Solo-ish dude. Well, what do we think his name is?
Han Solo.
I want to say his name is Mike.
Mike.
Looks like a
All
Mike.
right. Looks like a Mike. We got this character that seems to be talking, but like, who do we think this is?
His girlfriend that died and was digitized.
Digitized. Gotcha. So dead girlfriend. That's
Yeah.
the name. Nice. All right. I think I'm ready to reveal what exactly we're looking at here. So this is a game called Anachronox, developed by Ion Storm and Eidos Interactive. That's a very high-profile name in PC gaming, my dudes.
It definitely is.
I really enjoy just getting a chance to like really like. Oh, I should go back and. Oh, I want to zoom in. Damn it. Windows touchpad. I really enjoy just this box art. It just tells you everything you need to know.
The dude on the right, like his face is like so cartoony.
Like, not in the same style as the other ones that are kind of
Yeah.
exaggerated, like artistic. This is just like,
Like
He's
he
not
looks like
happy
he
to
was
be here.
pulled straight out of like a Saturday morning cartoon and just thrown in
Yep.
here.
yeah. All right. So this is Anachronox, released in 2001. So it actually predates Halo.
Fuck, I was 3
Um,
years off.
Yeah, you were. I'm gonna go stop streaming.
Wait, question about that box art. Can you go back to that for a second?
Yes. I'm gonna have to.
Whoops, my bad.
No, it's all good. It's all good. I'm gonna show you the shitty low-res version that I'm putting up now on Wikipedia.
Oh god.
There we are.
Oh my.
Same three figures, different order, an epic sci-fi RPG adventure. We got here our Dash Rendar looking dude. We got presumably like important character considering she's now up the front, and also like getting dangerously into fan service over here.
The dude on the right looks like he had a stroke this time.
Yeah, he is still super pissed.
His left eye looks like it's way lower than the right.
Yeah. So, Anachronox, a 2001 RPG that was a love letter to Japanese role-playing games. It was a turn-based party RPG in the style of something like Final Fantasy VII. And it is well known for being pretty much Mass Effect before Mass Effect was a thing. Your main character, I'm going to have to rely a bit on my Wikipedia knowledge because I have not played the game extensively. But so your character is a dude named Sly Boots.
Ooh.
A human and former private detective who is investigating a mystery on an ancient space station. In addition to all of the stuff that's going on, this space station has a hidden precursor civilization that may or may not have been doing some weird stuff. And a big part of the post-game twist is that the secret situation that you were thinking of does not go the way that you're thinking of, and that there is
Mass Effect right now. Like, I'm pretty sure you're just describing the plot of Mass Effect to me.
No, this is Anachronox, 2001. It's about this horrific place called Sender One, where everybody's living there thinking that there used to be aliens that used to like live here in quarantine, so they call it Anachronox because it's a name.
Yeah.
And this ancient alien race was in fact destroyed in a conflict with another ancient alien race, and it was a battle between order and chaos and psychic energies.
Pretty sure you're bullshitting this, and you're just giving me the plot of Mass Effect 1. I'm not falling for this.
I'll also say that it ends on a massive cliffhanger, setting up a sequel about the characters gearing up to go and fight a group of horrible extragalactic entities known as the Dark Servants.
You're just giving me the plot of Mass Effect.
I swear to God. I'm talking about this. Game.
You went to Wikipedia, took the plot of Mass Effect, rewrote it with a bunch of your own names, and you're trying to pass it off to me right now.
So the first character that I was showing was actually the planet. The very first segment of the game features you going to a planet called Democritus. To go
what a
and
fantastic name.
It gets better. You go to a planet called Democritus to go fight off a bunch of alien invaders. And in return, the citizens of Democritus are so thankful for your assistance that they vote everybody on the planet as a collective to go and help you in your adventures. So they shrink the planet down, and it follows you on your journeys.
What the fuck?
So the planet is a party member.
I would have never guessed that.
This was like, those look like eyes. That's exactly what that's supposed to look like, because that is a whole planet of millions of people who have now joined your party.
Like, can it like actually fight?
Yeah. No, it's got its abilities to fight. Yeah, I'll read off a bit more of the party members. There's 71-year-old Grumpos Matavros.
He looked pretty grumpy.
He is just the Gandalf-looking motherfucker as part of this. There's the femme fatale Stiletto Anyway. And Paco El Puno Estrella, a washed-up superhero who's turned to alcoholism after his comic book series was canceled.
These are so early 2000s names.
Yes.
What the fuck?
This game was well known for being super ambitious, of course, because it had a story that they could not satisfy in a single game. Also well known for, by the time the 2001 rolled around, 6-day work weeks, 12 to 16 hours a day on behalf of the staff, and just enormous periods of crunch.
What a
That
good
sounds,
period in time.
That sounds pretty similar.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you say? It's almost like these problems in the game industry have been around for
20
ages. Yep.
Yeah. Did
yeah.
the game sell well? Like, was it well reviewed?
Yeah. People were saying that it was a pretty like cult classic sort of game. It's got a 77 out of 100 on Metacritic. 80% on game rankings. I honestly am not sure how many copies it actually sold, but it is pretty like it punched and then it swiftly disappeared with the times waves. But I thought it was interesting as like at the start of the millennium, this sci-fi epic RPG that went nowhere, and yet the little seeds of its idea are planted everywhere, including Mass Effect. Yeah.
Like, why did they give a reason for why they never did a sequel or anything?
Because Ion Storm is not a thing anymore.
It's fair.
Like Ion Storm, it closed like in the year that they released. The Dallas studio closed in 2001, and the Austin studio then closed in 2005. So like, that was a company that was on the way out.
They had enough time to pump out a sequel.
No. These are also the guys that were like focused on Daikatana. So I wouldn't say that Savvy. Oh no, they were busy making Invisible War. That was it. They were busy making Deus Ex Invisible War. The most beloved of the Deus Exes. Anyway, that's my obscure game showing for the day. I hope you enjoyed. Bruce is no longer able to join us.
Bruce died during the podcast. Sorry.
Bruce died. I'm replacing him with my stuffed animal. This is Purse. Hello, Purse. How you doing? See, just identical. Look, no hair on this head.
It's exactly like him. It's uncanny.
Yeah. Hang on. I think that people should just be smarter, you know? And the gaming industry doesn't work because people aren't as smart as I am. And I think that in the end we should all just need to like take a good old lesson at Hegelian dialectics in order to figure out how to correct this industry. Oh, thank you, Purse.
You know what? Better replacement to Bruce. I like it.
I know. Like, put this all over our box art. Actually, you would get sued by the people that make Squishmallows. Don't do that.
We're probably already gonna get hit with some stuff for half these thumbnails, but that's okay.
Fair use, baby. Woo!
Yeah.
If we're not making money, you can't sue us. Don't quote me on that.
We don't actually know law. Please don't.
Please don't.
Do not look into this. Just accept it.
Yeah. Just believe. Just cast your attention elsewhere. Do not look behind the curtain.
On that note, I think that's a good place to end the podcast. Thank you guys for tuning in. Hit that like, subscribe button, and we'll see you guys in a week.
All right, au revoir. And if in case you aren't listening in 2021, fuck 2020. Hooray, we're almost done. Couple more weeks to go, baby.
Wait, I think this one is releasing in 2021.
This will be posted.
Yeah.
This captures our feelings in the moment.
Yeah, fuck 2020. 2021 is our year. Just kidding, it's probably gonna be shit too. Bye.
Bye.